What is up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to a brand new edition of Movies That Are Awesome. I am your host, Jordan Davis. In this episode, I wanted to really talk about a movie that has a special place in my heart. It was the first movie I ever saw, and that movie is Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And before we get into that, before we talk about all of it, all the goodness of it, I want to take this time out and I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for everyone that likes my videos, comments. I want to thank you all. I appreciate it. And for any of you that are new to this channel, I talk about movies from Marvel, DC, Star Wars, pretty much any kind of movies, blockbusters, talk about speculation, trailers, anything that has to do with movies. You can come here with confidence and know I'm going to talk about it. So, yeah, if you like that kind of thing, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell at the bottom so you know when my videos come out. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk about Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, like I said, this has a special place in my heart because this is the first movie I ever saw. To be honest with you, I saw it on VHS tape, and that's like pretty much my first experience watching a movie. That's how back it goes for me. And I think I still have the VHS tape that I can still watch it, but obviously we have, better options to watch the movie, like on streaming and everything. But yeah, it's one of those movies that will never lose a spot in my heart, and I think till this very day it's still my favorite movie. When people ask me what's your favorite movie, it's like, it's Indiana Jones. It's no question about it. And yes, I love my Star Wars. Yes, I love my Marvel movies. But it's just something about when you have a special movie that's in your heart that it will never change. It's just something when you see like a movie that just blows your mind and just makes you fall in love with movies. That's what Indiana Jones did for me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think it's like so awesome of a movie. And obviously, like I say, I think the common thing about all these movies that are awesome, it really is the beginning. Like I said last week with Ghostbusters, it's the beginning that really gets me into the movie. And Indiana Jones, same thing with this. The music, obviously the score is by John Williams, because obviously it's going to be great. But how they really set up, really the opening scene, going through this jungle, trying to find this artifact, but you don't really, there's like a good 2 to 4 minutes when you do not see his face. It's like, it's a bit mysterious. Who is this guy? And because you only hear the people that are helping him, you only hear their voices, because in the beginning you really see like this is very dangerous what they're about to do, and they're kind of worried, but you don't hear anything from Indiana Jones. You don't see his face, you don't see how he's like, and I think that really builds the mysteriousness of it. Obviously, you're going to have great directing when you have Steven Spielberg. I mean, I don't know if this was right after Spielberg did Jaws, but his directing in this movie is totally different than in Jaws, and maybe it's just the camera work, or it's just his direction on how he makes action adventure compared to a suspense thriller that was Jaws. And obviously that's an awesome movie in itself, so I might talk about that. But going back to Indiana Jones, it's just really that opening sequence of not seeing his face and just seeing his mannerisms, just seeing, who is this guy? Who is this guy in a hat with a whip? Then you finally see the reveal of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, and it really just gets you into it. It really sells you on the character. And obviously, Harrison Ford in this role is just, in my opinion, I think Harrison Ford is better at being Indiana Jones than Han Solo. Because, I mean, that's saying a lot. Because he is great as Han Solo. Everyone loves him in Han Solo. I love him as Han Solo. But for me, I think he really does Indiana Jones character a lot better. And I think even Harrison Ford said that his favorite character to play is Indiana Jones, even more than Han Solo. So I think, that tells it by itself that how great Indiana Jones is as a character. So, like I said at the beginning, love it. The music, love it. The camera work in this movie is tremendous, and I think Steven Spielberg really just put his name in a whole new level with this movie by just, the camera work. And you really, like I said, you really see that through the movie, especially when they're getting chased by Nazis, and how that camera work and how the action is. It's amazing. A masterclass of directing and camera work in a movie and how you make that movie great. And obviously the chemistry between Indiana Jones and Marion is just, it's terrific. I mean, Marion is not like any other, at that time, not any other character you'd ever seen. And it reminds me of the first time we saw Princess Leia. And I think that's one of the things you have to give credit to George Lucas. Like, in his Star Wars days and his Indiana Jones days, he really knew how to write great, interesting, fun, exciting women roles. With the Princess Leia and Marion, it was just, and maybe it was just the casting, it helps with, the writing and stuff, but, George Lucas, did a great job just writing strong women. I really thought Marion was pretty great in, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And their chemistry just really worked. And I will have to say, I think my favorite sequences in this movie is because there's a lot of great moments in this movie. A great cinematic moments when they're in, I believe they're in Cairo. Yeah, I believe they're in Cairo. I'm not sure it's in Cairo or Egypt when, men are chasing Indiana Jones. And obviously we all know this moment when, the sword guy is doing all his fancy stuff, swinging it, and he just pulls out the gun and, and just shoots him. That's one of the funniest moments I've ever seen in a movie. And that, I think we see that a lot more. I think that was really the start of those kind of scenes in movies now, because I've seen a couple of scenes like that. But when it's in Indiana Jones, it's just funny because Indiana Jones doesn't have time for this dude. he's just like, I'm just gonna shoot you and just try to find Marion now. So it's pretty funny. I think as probably the most funniest moment in the movie, because it's not really like funny. You know, it has its action and adventure, but it has its moments of funniness. It's pretty much serious because it's talking about, you know, the wrath of God and the Ark of the Covenant and all that. So it's a very serious matter. It's trying to get to this, but it has its moments of levity, of funniness, and that's what also makes the this movie great. It knows its moments when it needs to be funny, and it knows its moments when it needs to be serious. And that's why I just love, and why I think Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark is awesome, because it's written perfectly. And maybe because it was written by Lawrence Kasdan, because he wrote pretty much all of the all of the original and Star Wars movies, and I believe he wrote Force Awakens as well. And so it just shows just how good of a writer he is to really balance the storytelling and really balance the dialogue and humor of this movie, because you have your serious moments, you have your action-packed moments, but you also have your funny moments. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's perfect for the story. And I just think really the writing is just so good, because it knows what it wants to be. The tone is not going back and forth, back and forth. It just knows what it wants to be, and it's just telling its own story, and it's a great story. It's a simple story, but it's great, and maybe that's why it's so great, because it's simple. So praises to Lawrence Kasdan for writing a tremendous movie. To this day, it's obviously there's some, you know, special effects, but that's kind of wonky, but it still looks good, it still holds up. So the reasons why I like this movie, obviously it's personally it has a special place in my heart as being the first movie I ever saw. But really, if I've never saw it and this is the first time I ever saw this movie, I would give it a great review. I would understand why so many people love this movie and why it's such a all-time classic, because that's what it is. It's a classic movie and it's iconic. And like I said, John Williams does an amazing job like always. He's a legend. The opening got me, and this how how great it is and stuff. And really, like I said, the humor and the storytelling is balanced, and it really gets you. It really gets you into the story of Indiana Jones, and it really shows you why you love this character. Because it gets you into the character really quick, and you fall in love with this character really quick, and I think that's one of the reasons why this is such a great movie, why it's such an awesome movie. And I would say probably, I don't think this, now I don't know what other movies is going to come out in the future, but for me, this has always and will be always my favorite movie of all time, because of the adventure, the humor, the seriousness of it, the storytelling, the dialogue. There hasn't been a movie that can replace this kind of movie as my favorite movie of all time. So yeah, that's really what I think why Indiana Jones is awesome. Now, for all you Indiana Jones fans or just movie fans that have watched Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, what do you think? Um, what in your mind makes Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark so awesome to you? I would love to hear from you. What do you think about Indiana Jones? How many times have you seen Indiana Jones? And what is your favorite thing about that movie? So hit me up in the comment section, and I would love to hear from you and really discuss what is really the thing that is so awesome about Indiana Jones. So yeah, I just want to hear from you, and just want to hear from all the Indiana Jones fans, and just start a discussion. Um, and so yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video of reason why Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark is awesome. So again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Hit the notification bell at the bottom so you know when all my videos come out. And I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait for you to subscribe, and so we can talk much more. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.